This is a quick video for the Chester University students. I was just having a think, and I've compiled a list of the most common reasons people think they don't need to come to a self-defense session. If any of these sound familiar to you, then that's a keen indication you should probably show up. So, one reason people tend not to show up is I already do judo, boxing, MMA, karate, taekwondo, whatever. I'm already a black belt. This, and this. I don't need that. As I've covered previously in my three siblings video, martial arts and self-defense are two very separate things. So, a martial arts class, you learn a set syllabus within a very nice, polite, very much heavily focused on etiquette type of setting. Self-defense is not. So martial arts tend not to focus too much on how to see the problem coming. They certainly don't deal with the adrenaline dump. They certainly don't deal with raw naked aggression. We do. I've seen guys who are fifth dans who absolutely bottled it on the street, waiting outside a pub, purely because the guy came over to him. What the fuck are you looking at? Oh fuck! Don't swear in the dojo. So as soon as you get that in real life, you just buckle. And this guy just lost it completely and he couldn't move. So everyone knows of fight or flight. They forget about freeze. This guy just completely froze. Martial art is not self-defense. I refer you to the three siblings video I did. Please look it up. The idea that you can take what you've learned in a dojo and put it into reality combat, it doesn't always work. There's a reason that there's only 5 styles Arbud uses, and that's boxing, Thai boxing, judo, Greco-Roman wrestling, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The reason being is that they work really well in reality. The others don't. I don't want to offend anybody there. If you do something, then that's great. For those of you who study MMA or practice MMA, that's a consensual fight. That's where you both agree to fight. That's not what self-defense is. Self-defense is non-consensual violence. Self-defense is you've tried to visit violence upon me. I've got to do my best to get away without getting damaged. Again, I go into much further detail in my three siblings video. The other, I've had a self-defense class before. Okay, and how long ago did you take this self-defense class? Who taught it? Where were they taught? What were they verified and certified by? I'm certified by the British Combat Association. I'm a level 1 instructor in their real combat system of self-defense. I was taught by Matty Evans and Tony Summers. They in turn were taught by Jeff Thompson, the godfather of legitimate self-defense. What I teach you is real. It's been pressure tested. It's been used on the streets. It's been used by security industry professionals. It's been used by bodyguards. Jeff Thompson himself has taught the Royal Marine Commandos, the Metropolitan Police. I know Tony Summers has taught some of this to the NHS. I've taught people from all walks of life. I've used it myself whilst working the doors, working as a security guard. If you've been taught a self-defense class where they said, no, back away, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. If you've been taught something stupid where they say roll up the magazine and hit them in the nose, that's not going to work. If you've been taught, put your keys between your fingers, it's not going to work. Don't just go, oh, well, I did a self-defense. I don't care. Who were you taught by? How long ago was it? Where did they get their certification? There's a lot of charlatans out there running self-defense classes where essentially they're just teaching you boxercise or aerobics, and you go away feeling really great and confident, but when you actually look at it under the pressure of what reality is, you haven't been taught anything. So, I don't know, maybe you were taught something quite good, but how long ago was it? How often do you practice those techniques that you were taught? Yeah, self-defense isn't something where you can just go to one session once a year and go, yeah, I'm good. It doesn't work that way. You need to refresh your mind constantly. Second one, third one, whatever we're on. I'm very aware of my surroundings, so I don't need a self-defense lesson. This is coming from people who in Chester, certainly. I'm very aware of what's going on around me. I don't need any help. I don't need anyone to tell me anything else. But they're using the underground walkway systems. You know, I'm very aware of what's going on around me. Okay, once you're aware of it, then tell me what you do to get away from it. I'm very aware that these three guys are walking towards me, and I'm very aware that they've each got a bottle in their hand, and I'm very aware that they're talking to each other about attacking me. Well, just being aware of it doesn't do anything. What would you do in that situation? Just because you're aware of what's going on doesn't mean you've got the skill set and the tools to be able to do anything about it. If you haven't been taught how to control the adrenaline dump, then just being aware that you're suffering an adrenaline dump doesn't do you any favours. I'm very aware this guy is grabbing me by the throat and punching me repeatedly in the face. If you haven't been taught what to do with that, then it's being aware is useless. The majority of people as well who say, oh, it's fine, I'm very aware of my surroundings. I'm very. These are usually the people who also have their face buried in their phone. These are usually people that haven't got the first fucking clue of what is going on around them. So saying you're very aware, okay, maybe you are. I doubt that you are to the level you think you are. And just because you're aware of stuff, why not tag along, come along anyway? You might learn something new. Next one that happens quite a bit. It won't happen to me. Won't happen to me. I won't get attacked. I won't get mugged. I won't get sexually assaulted or raped. Won't happen to me. Happens to other people. Doesn't happen to me. Every single person who's ever been attacked walked around saying it won't happen to me right up until it happened to them. The most common phrase when people are giving a statement about them being attacked or mugged and about if they get in a car crash, he just came out of nowhere. I was just minding my own business and then boom, just came out of nowhere. Well, he didn't, did he? He didn't just materialise in front of you like Star Trek. It will happen to you if you're switched off. If you're walking around in a bubble where you believe it can't ever happen to me, then you're probably going to be the one that they target. So this, I'm very aware, you're not as aware as you think you are, it won't happen to me, it probably will. It does happen to people every day of the week, and it happens to those who don't pay attention, and it happens to those that think, oh, it won't happen to me. Doesn't happen around here. This is a really safe place. It's not going to happen to us. Yes, it will. You need to get your head out of the clouds and think about reality. It will happen to you if that's the way you're going around thinking about it. One complaint or one excuse was I'm not fit enough. I don't feel I'm physically fit enough to do a self-defense class. If anything I taught required you to be fit before I could teach you, I wouldn't be teaching it anymore. Everything I have can be taught to anybody within about 10 minutes, regardless of your fitness level. The whole purpose is there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of skills in the set. You pick the 2 or 3 things that will work for you. There's people who go, well, I'm not very active, I'm not very fit, I haven't got a lot of lung capacity, I haven't got a lot of strength. Okay, we'll look at some of the other techniques. There are people who go, well, I can't do that very well because I'm not very tall. I can't do that because I'm not very strong. I can't do that because I can't run very fast. I can't do that because I'm not very flexible. Well, pick something else. Pick the things that work for you and drill them until they work for you full on. Your experience level, your physical fitness, completely irrelevant. There will be something on the course that you can learn. The fence is the first thing I will teach you. Absolutely everybody and anybody can do the fence. That's why it's the first thing I teach, because it's so simple and so basic. So if you only come away from that session knowing the fence, being comfortable with the fence, then that's great. That's my job done, and you've learned something you didn't know. Hopefully, we'll be able to put a video up before the actual session of just the fence. But please don't think that just because you're out of shape or because you're not very fit or because of whatever, you've got asthma, you've got this, you've got that, it's irrelevant. I can accommodate you. I can make whatever it is you have, I can make that work for you in a self-defense situation. Everybody has the right to defend themselves. The idea that you have to go without knowing this knowledge or go without having this skill set just because of your physical condition is stupid to me. It's completely irrelevant. If you show up, I guarantee I can teach you something. That's my promise. I guarantee you I can teach you something that you can use to defend yourself regardless of your fitness level. The sessions themselves, They are not designed to weed people out. This is not my professional fight team. This is me giving cover to as many people as I possibly can. That's why I'm doing it for free. If you show up, I only ask you to do as much as you can. I'm not gonna pick you out and go, why can't you do 18 million push-ups, everybody? That's bullying, that's horseshit. I don't go in for that. If you show up and you do what you can, I'm happy with that, and I guarantee I can teach you. If you show up willing to learn, I guarantee I can teach you something that will be effective, that you can use, that will keep you and the people around you infinitely safer. Guarantee that. Another criticism, the price. Usually, one-on-one, an hour session with me is 20 quid. You guys are getting this for free. You cannot say that this is too expensive for you to show up. It's for free. Not only am I doing it for free, I'm traveling to you. I'm not asking you to come to my dojo, I'm coming to you. So all you have to do is show up. You know, it's free. Students are supposed to love things that are free. So show up. It's free. The cost is no excuse not to show up. Some people have given me excuses. One woman about a year ago, I was trying to get a group of people together to do this, and she said, I don't need to do that. I used to do karate when I was 10, so I already know how to beat a man up. This shows ignorance of what self-defense is at the basic level. Self-defense is not about beating someone up. I will not try to teach you how to be the toughest person you know. I give you a set of skills that allow you, first of all, to see trouble coming a mile away so you can avoid it. And then I give you a set of skills where if you can't avoid, you can escape. Self-defense should be about getting yourself away from the danger as quickly as possible whilst taking as little harm as possible. It's not about having a fight where you beat the other person up and you finish them and you're decidedly the harder guy or girl. That's irrelevant. I don't care who the toughest person on the planet is. I've done enough training to know that as soon as you think you're really, 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 really good at something, the very next day you bump into someone who's much better than you. There's an old joke about the guy who said, I always wanted to be a boxer till I had to fight someone who really wanted to be a boxer. If you go around trying to do stuff just to be the toughest guy you know, you're going to have a really lousy, depressing, miserable life, because there's always going to be somebody out there that just has your number. So that's not what self-defense is. Self-defense isn't about teaching you 60 different ways to kill someone with your bare hands. It's giving you a skill set to get away from the fight. It's giving you the skill set to not get in the fight to begin with. This obviously is something that is not covered in martial arts. Also, the idea that you did it years and years and years and years ago, that's completely irrelevant. I was on my school rugby team when I was 13, but the Welsh squad aren't calling me from Japan asking me to lead them to a World Cup anytime soon. That's not how it goes. Just because you did something decades ago doesn't mean you could do it again today, right now. So that of I did it years ago and I'm completely irrelevant. Another reason, some people just have this view based on whether they're aggressive, whether they're tall, fat, loud, gobby, whatever it is. Some people have this view that I can already defend myself. I can already fight. I can already defend myself. If this is you, I would ask how. How can you defend? What are you basing this on? What have you trained? How often do you train? How long ago did you train? Who are you training with? What things in your training are based on reality? What things in your training are specific for reality? So in my training, when I train reality-based urban defense, we train with aggression. We train to have that aggression in front of you. Before we get onto any of the really cool physical stuff, we do a lineup where you basically just shove each other and yell in each other's faces. There's swearing in my dojos. There's full-on fucking threats. If you're not training that, then you're not really training for self-defense. You're not training to have a fight. If you don't train, how do you deal with multiple attackers? If you don't train, how do you deal with weapons? If you don't train, how do you deal with the environment? Then you're not training. You're not saying, oh yeah, I can fight. No, you think you're tough. You might have, don't be that guy in the pub who's got the sovereign rings and the forearm tattoos who fancies himself as a hard nut. Don't be that guy. He's not the hard guy. The hard guy is the guy who's sitting quietly in the corner, not saying anything to anybody. He's just minding his own business. But his knuckles are all scar tissue where he's accidentally caught people's teeth. This idea that just because you're big or just because you're loud that you can have a scrap is horseshit. Because if that was true, you would be getting yourself into gyms and dojos and you'd be finding out that no, you can't fight. You can't fight worth a fuck. So the invitation is there to everybody, no matter what experience level or fitness level, whatever you have, no matter whether or not you think you can. And hey, show up. And if you do know what you're doing, maybe you can teach me something. I always have an open mind. Hicks and Gracie said that the mind is like a parachute, only really working when it's open. So if you do have all these abilities, then please do show up and correct me where I'm going wrong. It's not a challenge for a fight. That's not me being arrogant, but I'm genuinely saying, if you know this better than me, show up. Tell me. It's free. It's Sunday, the 27th of October from 5:30, Parkgate Road campus. The link to book your place will be in the bottom of this video. There's so many things, there's so many elements with self-defense that don't get taught in a match fighting class, such as a boxing class or a kickboxing class or an MMA class. There's so many things to do with self-defense that don't get taught in martial arts. Martial arts and MMA classes don't go over the legality of it. They don't explain to you where the law stands in relation to defending yourself. I do. I have a diploma in legal studies. I've looked into the law. I keep up to date with the law. I will put a link to what the law says in the bottom of this video as well. When I say this is as compact a skill set and toolkit as you can get, I mean it. I teach you how to avoid, I teach you how to see it coming, I teach you how to use verbal dissuasion and de-escalation, I teach you physical stuff that will work. There's nothing theoretical or hypothetical in this. Everything I teach you has been used, if not by me, then by the people who taught me. There's nothing, well, if you do this, he should then react this way. No, I know for a fact that from the fence, if I crack you in the jaw, you're going to go to sleep. Simple. I also go over the law, as I said, with exactly what to do so that you don't get in trouble, exactly how to report it, exactly what you should do afterwards. I go over all of this that martial arts lessons don't, because a martial art is a tight syllabus that has to stick to the syllabus that was created several hundred years ago. With all due respect to the long gone masters, the enemy back then does not exist today. A lot of martial arts were developed through fighting a samurai on horseback invading the village. You don't get that anymore. If you want to learn something to keep yourself protected and safe in today's modern society, this is what you need. Come to the class. It's going to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. It's free. Sunday the 27th of October, Parkgate Road campus from 5:30. Bring your friends. Show up. I think there's only about 10 to 15 places left. If this one's successful, we'll do another one. But please do show up. Please do take on board what I've said. I'm not trying to put anybody down here. I'm simply stating that a lot of your excuses for not showing up are just that, they're excuses. You probably don't know how to fight as well as you think you do. The average man grossly overestimates how well he can fucking fight. Your martial arts training does not equip you very well for reality conflict outside on the street. Your sports fighting and match fighting does not take into account weapons, numbers, and the environment. None of it takes into account the law. It's absolutely free, so that shouldn't be a factor. You are more than welcome to come along and film it. So as I explain the techniques and demonstrate them, you've got it there so you can watch it back again and again and again. There's really no excuse for not showing up. So again, Sunday 27th of October from 5:30, Parkgate Road campus. I look forward to seeing you all.